This video is sponsored by My Lovely Empress, a narrative-driven kingdom management game inspired by a mix of East and Southeast Asian mythology. Head on over to Steam now to wishlist My Lovely Empress and play the demo today.
Everyone, welcome to the Windbreakers podcast. I'm Yahtzee Crucial. I'm joined by Marty Sliver and Sebastian Ruiz.
Hello.
Bit of a trailer there for My Lovely Empress, which absolutely wasn't the game I thought it would be, going by the title. But never mind. Summer Game Fest is currently on. It's technically still going on because Ubisoft hasn't done theirs yet. But as is our tradition here on Second Wind, that continuing on for the tradition back at the Escapist, is that when one of these things come around, I very deliberately try to ignore all of it and all the hype and all the announcements so that Marty can tell me about them on a podcast and I can give live reactions and explain why there should be no hope alive in the world.
But now I have Frost. Now I have
I'm
a
here
second.
to referee.
Now I have a second. Yeah, it was a good weekend. We still got Ubisoft. Ubisoft is going on in 2 hours. We'll be doing that one live. Yahtzee will not be doing that one. But yeah, it was a good weekend for, I'm gonna be honest, a good weekend for AAA games. There were some good AAA games. A great weekend for indies. The indie bonanza is silly good.
Honestly, a good weekend for AAA games feels like a bad weekend for the rest of humanity.
A good weekend in AAA games is thousands of people didn't lose their jobs. So there you go. That's good.
So in the interests of full disclosure, obviously one picks up little things just from general internet osmosis, the odd random tweet and YouTube thumbnail. So I know the following things already. 1, they announced a new Dragon Age. And 2, they announced Lego Horizon Zero Dawn.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah,
a big 2. So Dragon Age, which was originally is going to be called Dragon Age the Dreadwolf, which I think is a cool name, changed its name to Dragon Age the Veilguard, which I think is a less cool name.
That's 2 completely different compound nouns.
Yeah, it's very confusing. And one is 2 words and one is 1 word, which I don't like. I don't like that at all. They just showed
the first sign of trouble there was that it's magenta now. Like their whole color scheme. I was like, oh my god, they've leaned into it.
The trailer is magenta. So we're getting a full gameplay reveal tomorrow. And they showed, like just an hour ago, they showed a little snippet of gameplay. And I'm going to be honest, it looked pretty good. And it looked less magenta than the trailer would lead us to believe. Do you have any? Did you play like Dragon Age Inquisition or Origins?
Yeah. I reviewed 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
Inquisition was okay as games go. I struggle to put my finger on what Dragon Age's identity is, besides its Tolkien-esque fantasy world. Sometimes they say, ooh, it's a slightly dark Tolkien-esque fantasy world, but aren't they fucking all? Yeah. So, yeah, I'm assuming this is just going to be fantasy RPG, but we slapped a recognizable name onto it.
Yeah, I mean, it's also sort of like make or break time for BioWare. Like, BioWare has been in a downward spiral for quite a while. Between Anthem and Mass Effect Andromeda.
You think this is do or die?
I mean, I think this and the next Mass Effect are if not do or die, like they need
Oh
to
my
pull
God.
up from the nosedive, right?
You're
Like you
telling
can't have.
me when backed up again, back to the wall, they pull out Fortnite textures? Like,
I think this is gonna be fun.
look at the trailer.
Remember what if you go back to the Dragon Age Origins and Dragon Age 2 trailers, they were not like the original CG trailers were not indicative of what the ultimate tone of the game will be. I might be wrong, but I feel like I'm going to wait on judgment until tomorrow until we see actual beefy gameplay reveal. I also don't really care
Okay.
about Dragon Age, if I'm being perfectly honest. What was the second
Wow.
game you mentioned? You saw
Lego Horizon Zero Dawn, and
Lego Horizon Zero Dawn.
my first thought was recoil and confusion, but then I thought about it a bit more, and then I remembered that Horizon Zero Dawn has got robot dinosaurs.
Mm.
And I remember when I was a kid, I had this thing called Zoids, which was the robot dinosaurs that you put together yourself in the manner of a Lego project. And then I realized, aha, I've figured out the through line from Lego to Horizon Zero Dawn. So yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah, and it seems like it is obviously in keeping with the Lego tone. It is a much lighter, much funnier, much more slapsticky take on.
Well, of course it is. Yeah.
The Horizon story. Also interesting is that it's coming to PS5, PC, and a Switch. So I think they kind of know their audience. So they're like, well, kids will like it over here, and maybe kids will play this and then bug their parents to go buy them a shiny new PlayStation to play
Yes.
the adult Dino game.
Yes, I've always thought of the Lego games as play with your divorced dad games.
What?
That's kind of
pretty
spot
apt.
on. Yeah,
Oh no.
that's kind of spot on. Yeah, that's kind of spot on.
It's the game your divorced dad buys to try and retain a connection with their
Sure.
children.
Um,
Because
Well,
they're very firmly couch co-op and Lego oriented, of course.
I'm curious who the second character in this is going to be, because I feel like isn't just Aloy just the main person in.
Well,
Like all the
yeah,
other
I mean,
Lego
to
games
a,
are kind
to
of
a
like,
fault.
yeah, the other Lego games are like, here's every character in Star Wars or every character. I guess Indiana Jones is the same thing of like, do you want to be this
Hmm.
Nazi or do you want to be this Nazi? Xbox, following the terrible May they had of shutting down studios like Arcane Austin and Tango, had a pretty good showcase that I feel like was the most positive I saw the internet about a single showcase and about Xbox as a whole in a very long time. I surprisingly was not as positive as a lot of other people. I thought it was good, but people were sort of losing their minds and
What
saying this
short
was an all-time showcase.
what short memories people have when the big studios bring out their fucking showcases. Like, hey, we hate Microsoft now because they fired all those studios. No, okay, they announced a new thing. Okay, and we've all forgotten about that. Okay,
We
Well, they're different
can't
people
be.
that are hype. You know, the Doomers are still here. They're just different people that are hype. Is it your long memory, Yachts? Is that it? If you were more forgetful, maybe you'd be happier.
well, sure, I'll be a lot happier when I'm old and have Alzheimer's.
I mean, I have a terrible memory when it comes to this stuff, and even I wasn't like that excited. That being said, you mentioned the Doom earlier. New Doom. Yahtzee, get this. Doom,
Yes.
The Dark Age. We're going back in time. We're going back medieval.
Well,
This takes place between Doom 64 and Doom 2016. So we're gonna, I believe, by the end of the game, we'll see how the Doomslayer gets in that cool little sarcophagus of his.
I'm not really that invested in the canon of the Doomslayer, if I'm honest.
Okay.
He's an angry man who kills demons. That's all he ever needed to be.
Feels
I
a
talk-
bit Evil Dead 3, which
It
I'm kinda
absolutely
excited
feels
for.
Army of Darkness. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I
always
tell
think-
you about a cannon you should be interested in? Because one of the guns is a gun, and you load a skull into it, and it grinds up the skull and shoots out the skull bits as shrapnel.
That feels like
And that
such-
is sick as hell.
Scorn. That feels like something
Scorn,
Scorn would have done.
Yeah, but this is cool. This is Doom, and look, he's got fur. Don't you always want your
He's
Doomslayer to
got
have fur?
That's why Dark Souls 2 did so well. You remember he had
Oh
fur on
god,
his
yeah, that was
shoulder.
his big thing. Yeah,
So we're going for a dark fantasy leaning, is what I'm saying.
yeah. Which Eternal, I think, had a little bit of. Like Eternal had some
Well,
castles
yeah.
and whatnot.
Because Doom Eternal was where things were going downhill because it's just more blurring of identities, isn't it? Doom
Mhm.
used to be just, a fairly straightforward equation. Techno Mars plus demons from hell. Doom Eternal starts bringing in all this weird legendary canon for the Doomslayer, which was always missing the point, I thought, because I thought in Doom 2016, the fact that the Doomslayer has no greater significance than just the fact that he likes killing demons was always sort of played up as a joke to me. But then they start leaning into all this canon for the Doom Slayer's origin. So the game itself is the one that doesn't get the joke. And now, what the hell is Doom at this point? It's like Assassin's Creed. It could be literally anything.
He just like me for real. I'm sorry, Marty. You brought me in for backup. I'm trying to ref, but to the one point, it just looks sick as hell, right?
Yeah.
And if it could have been non-Doom guy, I'd probably still be like, all right, this is interesting. But I also do hold that bit with Yahtzee of just like, well, what is the Doom guy now? Because before it was like small quarters, rip and tear, and I'm like, that looks like a really far run. That's gonna have a nice vista, but it's sort of taking away what I was anticipating before from Doom. Like there it is.
It's
little skull grinder crusher.
literally, I'm watching this, and part of me is like, I feel like id told their the powers that be that they wanted to make a Quake game, and the powers that be said no, you have to make a Doom game, and so they said, okay, we'll make a Doom game, and now they're just kind of making a Quake game. They're just kind of making like a Quake reboot, which I am personally fine with, because this feels like Quake
again. Well, again, what is Quake? When we say Quake, do we mean the dark fantasy pseudo Lovecraftian air of the first Quake, or are we talking about the body horror sci-fi techno future of Quake 2?
Quake 1.
Aha. Do you think this is just Harry Dad version of Doom Guy? He is Harry.
Oh well, my God! Harry, you're gonna have to protect. If you're gonna have to lone wolf and cub a kid, yikes! If you're gonna have to, I don't want to have to lone wolf.
I know, it feels like when Michael Myers was given a big beard in like the Rob Zombie remakes of Halloween.
Rob Zombie can't make a movie without a bearded man. Speaking of other classic, well, I guess older shooters being brought back, we finally saw gameplay of Perfect Dark. The game that has been in sort of development hell for a while is back, and I'm going to be honest, it looks a little bit like Deus Ex, which a little cross of Deus Ex and Mirror's Edge. I don't know. How do you feel about that kind of? Oh, do you even have any love for Perfect Dark to begin with? You weren't a big.
I have no opinion on Perfect Dark because I never had an N64. I remember there was like a 360 game that was kind of awful.
It was really bad. And, the weird thing about Perfect Dark is there's only two games. There's just Perfect Dark for the N64 and Perfect Dark Zero. That was a 360 launch game.
So no, at this point, this is just shooter with female protagonist. That's all that really means to me.
More like an immersive sim. If I'm being honest, this looks like the entire game takes place in this kind of futuristic version of Cairo, Egypt, and it seems like your missions are relatively open-ended, and to use your various spy gadgets and Joanne Dark's innate abilities. Again, we don't know a ton about it. I thought the demo looked pretty good. Do you get it, Joanne Dark? Did you put it together? Joan of Arc?
I mean,
oh God.
I was just sort of rolling my eyes of anyone having the surname Dark, which I seem to recall was a joke in the Mystery Men film.
Ooh, yeah. Remember Mystery? They should make a Mystery Men game.
Yeah, I'd play it.
Yeah,
they should get William H. Macy in.
Oh my God! How is William H. Macy not in a big? We need more character actors in our video games.
Oh wow, there's the parkour.
Are there enough polygons to depict William H. Macy's face in video games?
Him, Steve Buscemi, just a game full of beloved character actors. See, that would be good. We could get behind that. Moving over to a game I have less confidence in because of my love of the original. We saw our first sort of extended gameplay look at Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater Delta, which takes one of my most beloved. Like I feel about Metal Gear Solid 3 the way you feel about Silent Hill 2, and it completely strips. So I saw someone online say this game is technically competent, but they stripped away all the riz of the original game. Like they took all of charisma, they took all of the style away from the original. They took the yellow filter away. They just made it realistic, and in doing so, I'm like, this isn't my beautiful baby. I'm gonna play it because I miss.
I have a feeling they're going to depict like all the boss characters as much more toned down, like they did with Resident Evil 4, so they don't have that sort of operatic charisma they had.
So they can't because they're reusing all of the dialogue. They are not re-recording the
What?
dialogue whatsoever. So it is going to be these these like extremely realistic character models with the exact same voice samples of
all of that.
the original game. Yeah,
I like
sticking his
this.
tongue out.
I like that then. Yes.
Sticking his tongue out, which is
That's-
strange.
That is a very strange decision. I mean,
Yeah.
I guess they're going to have to pay all the voice actors again, or do they not have to since they just gave them a flat fee for the recordings?
I think that's why they're reusing them. Yeah, no royalties, nothing, flat fees.
Listen, I'm impressed by Konami's ability to just cut corners and be like, how can we save a little bit of money?
That really feels like a bad idea. That really feels like trying to cut corners.
Yeah.
If you're going to remake it, I mean, for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
I mean, why is if the original like appearance isn't sacred, why are the voices sticking as it is?
Less work.
Less
work on there. Yeah. Less work on their end.
I find it hard to believe if they're completely redoing the visuals. They wanted to not have to do as much work with the audio.
Yeah, it's a strange one. I'm also curious. Like, we don't know a ton about who is making this game. Like, and I also don't know how many. Like, when Kojima fled Konami and started Koji Pro, like, how many of the Metal Gear developers did he take with them? Like, how many people who worked on the original Metal Gear are still here and working on this? Like, I just don't. They just aren't very open with who's actually making this.
Yeah, I suppose my question would be, how's the game actually going to play? Is it going to play more like MGS5? Or, I mean, it's that MGS3 was the original survival in the jungle game. You should know they're going to be putting crafting survival elements in there.
God. But you can't put any dialogue around it. It has to all be via text.
The first thing Konami did after Hideo Kojima was shot at them was to make Metal Gear Survive, of course. Which
is a game all about when your mentor leaves you. Like, what do you do when you were abandoned by your hero? Which is a pretty funny game when you look back on it.
Who says they're not self-aware?
See?
There you go.
Exactly. Other Xbox stuff that stood out to me is a game South of Midnight that we saw at a CG trailer last year, and we saw actual gameplay this year. This is the next game by Compulsion Studios, who did they've only done 2 games so far. One is Contrast, which is like a puzzle platformer that's all about shadows that I think launched.
Oh, I think I know that one.
PS4, and then more famously, We Happy Few, which was kind of a dud.
Oh dear.
Ooh, that's gonna be fun.
This game is I really like the tone of this. It's this sort of like dark gothic Cajun fantasy story. Gameplay wise,
I got to say the title kind of makes me laugh because my eldest at the moment is she doesn't really understand the distinction between measuring something in terms of physical distance and measuring something in terms of time. Ooh. So I'll tell her like I'll be ready to play in 15 minutes, and she goes, "How long is 15 minutes? Is it this long?" And I'm like, well, that's a measure of distance versus a measure of time. I can't really say, my love.
I don't even know how to go about like explaining to someone the difference.
Though. Like the amount of time it takes me to get from point A to point B. She's there.
Yeah.
To give her like 7 miles.
Yeah.
You know.
So what kind of game is 2 miles? What kind of game is South of Midnight then?
We're seeing some gameplay now. Nick brought it up on the stream, and after rewatching it, I kind of agree with him. The gameplay looks a little bit like Infamous, weirdly enough. At least the movement, the character movement, the fact that you are just like gliding through the air with your hands behind you, kind of like. And I guess maybe it's partly
Naruto
the sort
flying.
of Louisiana vibes that are reminding me of Infamous 2. But we see some combat, we see some very cool story moments with weird little critters, like you're riding on the back of like a giant crawfish or giant fucking I don't know, kind of I'm gonna be honest, I don't know my fish. Seems neat. Seems like a tone we don't get a lot.
So is it like fantastic setting?
Yeah, it's like it looks like Louisiana, but with like creatures.
Oh, magical realism, Louisiana. It'd be like watching Song of the South all over again.
There you go. Song of the South.
Why not Princess and the Frog? You got to go there.
Why can't we go with the nice one? So yeah, that's one of the many first party Xbox games. Also, one of the games that I have this worry in the pit of my stomach of if this game doesn't perform, are they going to be on the chopping block along with?
Well, we've established that fucking everything's on the chopping block regardless of performance.
Yeah,
Why does
even if
this
you
look
make
a
game that
bit
people
like
love.
Forspoken Redfall? That's nice.
A little bit of
Nice
Forspoken, a
vibe.
little bit of Forspoken. I see. Yeah. But I think the reception was far
Ooh.
more positive than Forspoken, I would say. But look, Nate, that's a next year game.
Was there much dialogue on display?
Yeah, the dialogue was good. The writing was good. There was like a little bit of banter between her and the giant talking fish she was riding, and it wasn't like sort of eye-rolly MCU banter. It was actual like what felt like well-written dialogue. I thought their game contrasted. I thought
there's MCU dialogue and then there's just fucking bog standard dialogue, which usually goes along the lines of this was the end, but it was also a beginning and shit like that.
Oh my god! Did you hear that? An end and a beginning? That's how you tell a story.
Or was it delivered while atop a catfish?
It was, yeah. I have a game. I have a game that I think you're gonna like. It's called Slitterhead. It's called Slitterhead. This is a horror game from a first-time Japanese studio called Bokeh Game Studio, which was founded by a lot of the team of Silent Hill 1.
Oh, I've
then
heard
went
of
on
this,
to make Siren, who then went on. This is from the writer and director of Silent Hill 1, Siren, and Gravity Rush. I thought this was going to be.
That's quite a spectrum, isn't it?
And it feels like all three of them. When they first showed this off, I thought this was going to be pure survival horror. And then this trailer played, and it's survival horror until you realized, I believe you are the monster. You are the Slitterhead. But mechanically, it is Driver San Francisco, because you are in a town and you are taking over the bodies of different characters and people in town and using their various slitter powers to defeat other monsters, such as being an old woman who turns her arm into a scary like Gatling gun made of flesh, and a man who turns his arm into like a scythe, and you're fighting all sorts of weird monsters. Let me tell you, it legitimately looks like a mix of, like I said, Silent Hill 1 with a little bit of the spookiness, Siren with the multiple playable protagonists that you vamp between, and Gravity Rush, which in how it allows you to sort of navigate the city in ways that a human can't actually navigate. I'm sold on Slitterhead coming this year.
Well, I won't lie. That actually sounds pretty dope. Can't even be cynical.
See,
I mean, obviously, I'd need to play it, but I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued by the premise. I really like games where you can just absorb enemies or whatever, and they each give you a different power. I really like Castlevania Aria of Sorrow.
Yeah,
there's a little Souls-like coming out with that premise called Biomorph. So, see, if I'll be the cynical one, why does the combat look turn-based? I think it's just a demo showcasing, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I mean, I think it's just like showing various like parries and whatnot. I mean, it might be turn-based. I don't.
You hit me, and I'll hit you. Yeah, we'll just.
That's just called the rules of fighting. It's being
Silent Hill's really good. I was never really sold on Siren. It was just that game was just really obtuse. Gravity Rush I liked in a completely different reason to why I like Silent Hill 1.
Yeah,
Gravity Rush. I like Gravity Rush because it's upbeat and fun, which feels weird knowing it came from the Silent Hill devs.
Maybe a Slitterhead. Maybe Slitterhead will be fun. I also really like saying the name Slitterhead, so that's why I keep doing that.
It makes me think of SCP fiction. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Which I feel like we're seeing more and more of a rise of in games with Control and then with a ton of indies.
Codename Slitterhead. It is designated Godzilla class threat or whatever.
I like Codename Slitterhead. Sticking with horror, this is a little montage of various horror games we saw. So Blumhouse, the horror movie studio, has announced a game publishing and development label where they are setting out
Blumhouse
to make horror games.
Blumhouse do nothing if not throw a lot of shit at the wall and hope that something sticks.
Yeah, and so they showed sort of this first wave of a bunch of different indie horror games that they're making, and I think they said that their idea is like all of these can be completed like in a weekend. Like these are all they want to make a bunch of smaller games. They want to find.
I see. Big fucking studio big fucking studio sticks its nose into a well-established indie market and goes, "Hey, we could do this. We could do this and steal all their money."
Not stealing. They're getting these things across the finish line
without really understanding the existing market for indie horror games.
I disagree. I think the folks who are running the studio are like have been in the games industry for a long time and come from various, like, used to work at like Sony Santa Monica and all sorts of places. So I have faith in this. I think it's really cool, and I like that each of the horror games feels extremely different. Like, one of them is Sam Barlow's next game. One of them is like this Fear the Spotlight game that's showing right now is kind of this like 90s throwback, a little bit like Crow Country. There's like first person spook 'em ups. There's almost like a farming game with a little spookiness to it. So I like that they're going with a nice breath of different spook.
Okay.
Modes.
So are they just like publishing a bunch of different dev teams?
Yes, pretty much. Like almost just going to be a label to like empower indie horror developers.
Okay.
Well, if your next game's a horror game, give them a call.
Maybe I will.
There you go. And then speaking of an interesting twist on horror, we talked about last week. We talked about Stanley Parable and The Beginner's Guide. Davey Redden, the lead developer of those two games, unveiled his next game being published by Annapurna, and it is called Wander Stop. And the trailer is
that also a description of the primary gameplay loop?
Is a wander? No, because the trailer starts and it says from the creator of the Stanley Parable and the Beginner's Guide, and it's a colorful, cozy farming sim. And so we're like, this isn't what I thought this guy would make next. And it's just a person going about this fantasy world, going about her day, doing the odd jobs of farming and whatnot. And you get to the end of the trailer, and she sits down on a bench, and she says something to the. She's talking about her day. She's narrating, and she says, "I think today's going to be a great day. Today's going to be a great day. Today's going to be a great day." And you start seeing these horrific images flash as she kind of starts shuddering, and you see these like really violent flashes. You see a bloody sword, and then she kind of snaps out of it, and she says, "Today's going to be a great day." And then that's where the trailer ends. And so it feels like whatever subversion he did with the sort of first-person walking simulator, whatever he's trying to do in the cozy genre. Which I'm a fan.
I mean, Stardew Valley's always had bloody combat with monsters,
but it's never had spookies.
There's fighting
going on.
Oh, there's some.
You go into like caves and stuff.
It can get pretty fucking spooky if you're like 5 levels into the cave dungeon and not sure if you're going to survive the next one.
You can die in Stardew?
Yeah, you die all the time.
What?
And if you die in Stardew, you die in real life. I don't know if you guys.
Jesus, today's going to be a great day.
It's going to be a great day. Another game. This is going to be that game was called the Wander Stop. WANDE.
Wander stop. Wander stop. Wander stop. Red light, green light.
There you go. This game. This is a guy Yahtzee all over it. It's called Cairn. CAIRN. It is a French hardcore mountain climbing game from the developers of a game called Haven. That came out a few years ago.
Oh, I know Haven. That was fun. I think they also did Fury.
They did Fury as well.
Really?
I don't know. Jassant is also French. And Assassin's Creed is also French. Do French people just like climbing stuff? Isn't parkour French?
Oh, careful now. There's Canadian, French Canadian. That's different.
Well, if it had been German, I would have said, well, it did spend all that time trying to get over that wall.
Oh, god damn. Okay, but, that was a nicer one.
That doesn't work so well because it's French.
Yeah. It seems, again, I'm very curious what this game is going to be mechanically, because they said this is in-game footage, and I was like, I don't understand what I'm doing with my fingers to make the character move and climb like this. But it seems almost like a more, I guess, quote-unquote, realistic take on climbing than a Jassant. There's going to be fewer like sky whales and whatnot. Yeah.
And if that doesn't suit you, there's another French indie game coming through called Sacre Bleu with a very exaggerated French accent as a musketeer. You will love it.
That does seem very exaggerately French. It feels
is
weird.
That in the like On Guard cinematic universe of like?
I was feeling it. It felt very On Guard. Yeah.
Yeah.
Was that actually made in France?
I don't know.
Because it feels weird to an actual French person to make something like that. It'd be like if an English
What's
developer
racist
made
if you don't know, if you're not French?
Constable Blimey chips.
Sticking with France, a big surprise yesterday at the Xbox showcase. A first-time studio who is made up of some former Ubisoft Montpellier people is making a what looks like a AAA take on a JRPG called Claire Obscure Expedition 33. It does not have like cartoony visuals or anything. It is a very bad name. Claire Obscure. Yes. And Claire and Obscure do not have E's at the end of them. So just even more confusing.
Expedition God, I want to throw up.
Terrible
that title
name.
Literally makes me want to throw up.
Terrible name. Gameplay, very cool looking. Gameplay looks very cool. It just looks like the most stylish JRPG turn-based combat since outside of Persona Team / Metaphor ReFantazio. The combat itself looks wonderful. I'm cautiously optimistic about this.
What's Alan Rickman doing there?
That name is hideous.
We're getting all of our great character actors into games. That's the final frontier. It looks cool. I'm excited for this one. We were talking about nationalities really leaning into their own history, into their own specialities. Do you know what Black Ops 6 is about? Call of Duty Black Ops 6.
I think. You know what? I was in the car and I heard a fucking radio ad with a person impersonating Bill Clinton on it.
It wasn't, I don't think impersonating, because the trailer has footage of George H.W. Bush, Bill Clinton, Colin Powell, and the big bad himself, Saddam Hussein. We're doing it. We're desert storming. We're desert storming.
You know, I seem to remember fucking calling this at some point.
They're running out of conflicts.
They were going to veer into all those like sticky 90s conflicts and just reframe them to look like the Americans were the good guys the whole time.
Oh, they also showed gameplay of this isn't a Call of Duty game. It's like some Delta Force or something that's just doing Black Hawk Down, like using the movie. So it's doing Mogadishu. And I'm like, what are we doing? What are we doing with our games?
I guess what the fuck else has Bill Clinton got to do with his time these days?
I mean, I don't think he's in the game. I think they're just using archival. Monica. Could you imagine Bill Clinton being brought out at the Game Awards?
Oh Jesus! If Monica Lewinsky's in this game, I'm gonna have a fit.
Could you imagine? Oh my god, I would absolutely love it. Frost, what was we looked at a lot of indies before we transition over to Super Chats. Were there any standout indies? Like one of the big themes of indies are, and you can play the demo now. Like it is obscene how many demos for these games are now available. Like it feels like if you are an indie developer and you're showing up to the summer game fest, you should have a demo ready to have folks to play.
So yeah, one described as a bizarre British platformer that I absolutely need Yahtzee to play. Called Thank Goodness You're Here. Mm-hmm. It is some of that like older humor that I'll get. It's weird, cheeky little running around slapping everything, and they don't really react all too well. It's cartooned up like Chowder from Cartoon Network. Look at him. It's from the Untitled Goose Game, guys.
Yeah, that does look pretty British.
Untitled
I
Britman.
think that'll be a fun one. Yeah, I think that'll be a fun one.
I've played it. I feel like I need someone. I need like Jay watching this.
This is absolutely just a Jay-centric game.
Oh, is Matt Berry in it? That guy gets around.
Oh, was it actually Matt Berry? Because it felt like Matt Berry.
It's just credited Matt Berry in the trailer. That's
that's good. That's good.
It's like all over the place. All you really do is slap things to interact with them. Like this one guy gets his hand stuck in the gutter, and he's like, "Oh, mate, give me some lube, will ya?" And he just
it looks like British Tulip by way of Adult Swim.
There you
go. There was an Australian improv comedy show called Thank God You're Here, where the whole premise was they'd get the guest comedian on and they'd go into a room and there'd be an entire scenario they knew nothing about, and the first thing like anyone would say to them is "Thank God You're Here."
That's this. Yeah, no, that is this premise. Thank goodness you're here. You just walk into people who are like, "Oh, like the kegs, they've gone off. Can you go fix them while you're here?" You know,
beautiful.
It's weird.
We also noticed a weird trend. Do you want to take a stab at what the big new trend in indie games are?
Is it not cyan hair anymore?
No, it's
There's
actually
still a bit of
something
that.
you played the first of the next wave of them. That was one of the 2 games we played for Yahtzee Tries last week. Would you believe it if I told you egg games are the indies of the future? Egg-centric games.
Egg is the now.
There are
Egg-centric.
several egg games in development.
There's a very prominent egg in Starstruck Vagabond as well, right?
Animal Well has eggs.
Yeah.
Were you early on the egg train?
I guess so. Apparently, I inadvertently preempted the egg train.
Projected your hate of eggs in there.
Egging On was the game shown off at the Gorilla Collective showcase, and Egging On, you play an egg, and you know that recent what's that climbing game that was
Only
big,
Up.
like Only Up. That game, like a bunch of streamers were playing, where you kind of try to platform as high as you can, and if you fuck up, you just lose, and that's it. It is that, but you are egg, and you have to be careful because egg can smash, and you are wobbly like egg as well.
And it looks like I Am Bread at a glance.
It is, but it's I Am Egg, which is like that's part of bread, but it's not all bread.
Well, I could make a whole breakfast out of these games soon. Someone just has to do something with bacon, and someone has to do something with muesli.
What the fuck? What is muesli?
Muesli? You don't know muesli? Oh my god!
Oh, what is it?
Like it's like unsweetened granola.
It's like unsweetened granola, Marty.
Oh yeah, look. Oh, I obviously know what it is. Frost didn't know. He just didn't know. And then there's what's there's the 2D egg platformer. That's the same thing. It's a little 2D puzzle platformer. Foul damage. Where you play an egg, and the thing is, it's a 2D puzzle platformer, but you need to take into account if you jump too high, you'll fall back down and crack because you're an egg.
Right. You go a set jump height, you do. So you have to make use of it. Very weird sci-fi thing. Look at that.
Yeah.
There was
loving eggs.
Fall damage. There was a lot of like really retro platformers that were kind of crazy with the fall damage.
Yeah.
Like, was it Donkey Kong, where if you'd fall like more than like twice your height, you'd just die when you landed?
Oh, in the original, yeah. Well, you can't. Mm-hmm. You got to be careful. You don't want to sprain an ankle.
Cardboard fish. Did you get a look at that one?
I haven't seen Cardboard Fish. No.
So there's a mad scientist who makes fish out of cardboard, and you are said fish, and you have to pilot around this tank and try to like puzzle your way through onto the next one. And God, it controls like a pig. It's awful, but you really gives you respect for a fish trying to maneuver in that environment. Yeah, there it is. See, it's a bastard.
Okay then.
I guess that's like, I mean, there's an ongoing trend of like controlling something that is actively working against you, whether it's Quap or Octodad or Benefied or anything.
What was that recent one? The egg game? Arctic Eggs?
Arctic Eggs.
Arctic Eggs, yeah.
Yes.
Love a good egg of
those. Cozy hike types. You got the Corgi's Cozy Hike is here, plus the building relationships, as it were, where you are a bunch of horny houses interloping on an island.
There's a game called Building Relationships where you literally play as a house that's like looking for a mate, and so you have to like go around to the other houses on the island and chat with them, and some will just want you to fish for them, other ones are kind of open. It's like very horny though. Like
I don't know if you'll get I don't know if you'll get the term, because at one point she was like, "What are you about?" And it's like, "I'm just pooping." Trying to raise her up didn't work. No.
Yeah. House waifu game. Okay.
House waifus. Yeah, we need more house waifus. What would be your like desirable house waifu? Is there like something you look for in a house that you're like, yeah, that's it? Like a nice
French chateau.
I thought it'd be nice to retire to a beachside apartment.
Yeah, big enough for two. Imagine that's what building relationships is all about. Frost, how did you feel about the state of things after this weekend? Do you feel good? Do you feel positive? Do you feel like we got a lot of exciting things to talk about on the horizon?
Oh no, wife's left me. It's an election year.
Oh no.
No, so state of things here. I mean, I'm always a big fan of the trailers, but I'm sort of in between you and Yahtzee, where you look at it and you see hope. He looks at it and he sees misery. I'm just like, what a nice trailer. Like that's it.
Sure.
I'm in that moment. There is no future. There is no past. It's like, what a nice trailer. And then there it goes. As far as trends are going, I think we're finally kicking up with a bit more variety. We did this last year, and I went, Jesus Christ, if there's any more roguelikes and cozy games, I'm probably just going to have to join Darren again in the movies. But no, a lot more. At the very least, there's variety, right?
Yeah.
And I think be daring, because as we're seeing, any game you make could be your last. You might as well go all out.
Yeah,
quite.
and we're definitely seeing the more and more. It's becoming very clear, which we've talked about before, that a new generation of indie developers are of an age to where they grew up being inspired by games of the late '90s and early aughts. So we're seeing a lot of things that have kind of a Game Boy Advance aesthetic and N64 slash PS1 slash PS2 slash Dreamcast aesthetic.
Yes, there was a lot of creativity in the early PS2 era.
Yeah. So that's it's exciting that we're at a time where people are pulling from that, because that is an era that I really love, and it has me more and more confused at what that's going to look like in 20 years, when it feels like so much of our culture right now is reflective of the past. And so what is like the original
Twas ever
culture
thus.
of-
Twas ever thus, my friend. Culture is
Yeah.
always nostalgic for about 20 years ago.
Quoth the Raven.
Yeah.
I mean, fucking Happy Days came out in the 70s, was just to be nostalgic for the 50s.
Yeah,
Fucking Life on Mars came out in the 2000s, being nostalgic for the 80s,
Yeah, Back
etc.
to the Future. Yeah, stuff like that 70s show. Yeah, I can
It's
see
the
that.
20s, yeah. A lot of noir. Let me tell you, even the visual novels, they're kicking. They're being little weirdos.
Yeah.
I like it.
They're being little cretins. But yeah, cool stuff. Do you wanna move over to super chats?
Yeah, let's do
Sure.
it. But you read them out, because I'm coming down with a cold again, and
Yeah,
just
I can do that.
messing my throat up tends to accelerate that.
You know what? Your voices are both your money makers. I could put this one through the ringer. Don't you worry. Dr. Theo with a $5 dono. Thank you so much, Dr. Theo. Playing a bit of a mean character as my first D&D experience, and I want advice from Yahtzee on the spot crude humor, like the main character from Galaxy Trio.
Well, I can't really give you much advice generally. I mean, it just comes down to what your feed lines are. I mean, it's like
The lack of
saying,
filter
"Hey,
is what that is.
hey, can you advise me on how to play improvised jazz?" No, I fucking can't. That's the point.
Is it because you're bad at jazz or improv?
You just need to watch a lot of comedy so you know how to respond to certain things.
There you go. Look at that. Fun facts. Alex Armstrong with a $5 dono. Thank you so much. Love the Summer Game Fest, but what's with Sega doing Sonic Generations again now with Shadow? Wasn't that an experiment to see what was wrong with Sonic?
Well, that was just my theory, I'd say. So this was the
Wait, what
Sonic
was your theory? Sorry.
Well, I expressed my theory when I was reviewing Sonic Generations, that they were just going through all the games trying to figure out where they fucked up.
Oh, interesting.
I remember thinking it weird. I remember thinking it weird that the Sonic Generations had a section on Sonic 2006, because you'd think they'd want everyone to forget about that. But yes, I did hear that about this Sonic X Shadow Generations. Is that literally just Sonic Generations, but they added a Shadow bit?
Yeah. So it's like a remaster of the game, but with additional Shadow nonsense. And Shadow in this one doesn't have guns, but he kind of has like a Venom power, like Venom, Spider-Man's Venom.
Oh,
it seems like he's got a little bit of a symbiote to him.
Fucking Shadow.
What is this? Has he always had Heelys?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's been a big Heelys guy. Yeah.
He's always
he
been
was
Heelys.
a runner too.
No, he's only fast because he's got Heelys.
He's a glider.
Yeah.
An absolute
He's
glider.
He's got Heelys, and he's mad at everything.
Same. Tommy Salty, 10 Polish Swoti. Thank you so much, Tommy. Haven't watched any Summer Game Fest, but I loved My Adventure is Nigh. Yeah! Adventure is Nigh is back. Episode 0 this weekend. And we're going through every weekend until the heat death of the universe. A new episode. A new old episode.
Yes. The season 4 will be out around the time of the 23rd century.
There you go. There you go.
Oh,
And Michael with a $10 dono. Thank you so much. Dragon Age as interpreted by Looney Tunes, from what I saw. Yeah, we're getting a lot of. I feel like Dragon Age is the one that had a lot of pushback in terms of people being like hashtag not my Dragon Age. Which I guess.
So okay, I'm just looking at it's being very hero shootery in that trailer. By the looks of it.
But then again, like I said, tomorrow's gonna be their big like show off, and then earlier today they showed like a little teaser for the show off that had a brief snippet of gameplay at the end, and it looked like you were a party wandering around a city in the Underdark, and it looked very impressive. Like just from a 5-second thing of a party walking through a city, that looked like actual gameplay. So I don't know why they went with this. It just felt like very clearly there was going to be pushback against this tone. I mean, maybe that is the final tone, but I don't know.
Well, BioWare games have always been a little bit emotionally staid.
Sure.
Dragon Age and Mass Effect. Like they were the games that gave us BioWare face, as I'm fond of talking about, of course.
But like this
So
footage
I
we're seeing
can't-
right now, this looks like a fantasy
Now
game
suddenly,
where you're walking around a little world.
yeah, looking at now, all the energy that was in that trailer has apparently mysteriously vanished.
Because all the negative feedback.
That's
Zalno.
gaming.
Oh
big,
yeah, that's the
big.
person I wanna.
Yeah,
I went to her Twitter feed to see if she had thoughts, and she was just mad at an airline because apparently an airline did her wrong.
Just
And I'm
did
like,
she
good for her.
Kojima it? I watched the trailer.
Oh no! If Amy just says I watched the Dragon Age reveal, God have mercy. Zalno with a $10 dono. Thank you so much. I don't really trust anything in AAA showcases. How many Watch Dogs and No Man's Skies do people need to go through before they learn that pre-release stuff can't be trusted?
Well, quite. That's why I have to fill. That's why I have to fill this role.
But I mean, yes, for every Watch Dogs and No Man's Sky, there are also dozens of games that are shown off pre-release that are indicative to what they look like. I feel like we tend to only remember, I don't want to say the outliers, but
even if it's accurate, what it eventually looks like, it's still like being edited to make the game look better.
Oh no, I am anytime anything says we are using in-engine, I'm like, no, show me a HUD and show me someone playing the game who fucks up. And then I'll be like, yep, that's real. Like if I watch old E3 demos, if someone fucks up during the demo, I'm like, this is real. If there's a bug, I'm like, this is real. If it looks too clean, I'm like, I don't trust this.
I've said it before, but I'll say it again. If I
can remember
I've completely forgotten what I was going to say there. I just remembered I was going to start with I've said it before and I'll say it again, and then my brain just had a fart and I forgot what I was going to say.
It's a really funny place to forget.
Yes.
Maybe you'll remember throughout this. Fox D with a $5 dono. Thank you so much. Doom is best when you treat the lore like a one-page, badly translated description of an old NES manual and just get to ripping and tearing. I think that's part of the reason why Doom 2016 works so well is because you just start off and literally 5 seconds into the game, they're like, just go just tear some shit apart.
Not here to read, punching everything. Yep. I
think lore is can oftentimes be a detriment to something that can just be gleefully stupid.
Well, as I said, in Doom 2016, it's almost sort of a running gag that other characters besides the Doom Marine keep trying to ascribe higher motives to the Doom Marine's actions. Mm-hmm. Like, oh, he's some kind of avenger from the past that will save us from the demons, and he's really just a psycho who wants to kill demons all the time. And then for Doom Eternal onwards, they just sort of forget that it was supposed to be a joke. Other characters trying to infer meaning from his actions, and then they actually try to add meaning to his actions by giving him backstory and all that shit.
Yep.
And that's where I think they lost plot.
Terran Funko Pops. That's him.
Do you think creatives almost get self-conscious if you're working on something that is like unabashedly and beautifully stupid? Like, do you think they want to be like, oh, this is more important? No. There's lore.
It's like when comedians try to go for Oscars later in life, eh?
Yeah, like, oh, you didn't take this seriously.
Adam Sandler.
Yeah.
I
don't know.
It feels a bit like, let's have our God of War Ragnarok. Let's have Daryl from The Walking Dead. Like, flesh him out a bit more. But he's just so antithetical to all of that. Of like, no, I'm just me. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah, the God of War Ragnarok. That's a pretty apt comp, I would say. I don't think he still talks though, so that's fine. John Brooks with a £10 dono. Thank you so much. Doom Dark Age, just more proof that Doom Marine is Link in the future. Link?
Oh, hey, I've got a Discord channel you should probably hang out in, John Brooks.
But this is geographical. This is chronological.
Oh, the semi-emblematic channel on the Second Wind Discord has really gotten on board with the chronological part of it as well. The whole,
Jesus.
mass video game crossover event.
If you're in the Discord and you got a couple hours, go to the semi-emblematic channel, pour yourself a drink, scroll back several days, and behold a communal project, which is fascinating, equal parts fascinating and terrifying. I love it. It's great.
Yes, certainly frightening for me. I mean,
Yeah.
like I was like patient zero. I set the whole thing off.
Does part of you feel guilty that you created a monster?
No, I'm glad everyone's having fun.
Yeah, seems like fun.
Just I just don't want them to come to me and ask me to christen it or anything.
Be like, yeah, it's fine. Just keep playing in traffic. Eric, the 100 says, thank you so much, Eric. Lego is the only game to play to forget the depressing reality that you are no longer a kid. A way to hide that hollow feeling that only marketing and nostalgia can fill, which is why Sonic is still a thing. You know what? Some of us just like to go fast with Sonic. I, for one, like to go fast.
I like Lego because I like building things, but not intricate enough to need skill. Not
like
saying Lego's not skillful.
things get built. Yeah.
Yeah, but there's a lower skill floor. It's easier to get onto Lego than, say, woodworking.
You want lower skill, even than Lego, you should give stickle bricks a try.
What is that?
Excuse me.
Stickle bricks, it's like Lego, but like the bricks are just covered in prongs, so you can jam them together literally anywhere.
Those things. Yeah, I never understood those. Yeah, I would just make just a big one. That's just a big one.
You just made a big stickle brick?
I had mega blocks, you see.
I had stickle bricks. Yeah. Alex Armstrong with a $5 dono. Thank you so much, Alex. You could squeeze Mario into your Apocalypse crossover planet. Do like Adventure Time. Have the Mushroom Kingdom built many years after Fallout had its go. It makes sense why mushrooms were kind of the...
I kind of placed the Mushroom Kingdom in the ancient past.
Mm.
And when Mario and Luigi were teleported there, they were actually traveling back in time.
What if the Mushroom Kingdom is after The Last of Us and they got the mushroom thing under control?
And now they're just kind of...
They learned to live in harmony with the mushrooms, and now they're all mushroom people. Or maybe like their human cells are still in there somewhere, constantly screaming impotently and fighting to get out of the mushroom person.
Yeah, it's like I Am Legend.
I'm currently replaying Thousand Year Door, and let me tell you, this is making me rethink a lot of stuff about Rogueport. Also, Thousand Year Door, still a very good game.
I'm sure.
But, yeah. Aged very gracefully.
They literally just ported it, didn't they? Just like spruced up the graphics a bit.
Yeah, spruced it up a little bit. I think they added like some new secret boss that I'm probably not going to do. I was hoping they would add. You remember throughout the game, Luigi keeps telling you about the adventure he goes on. I was hoping they would add you being able to play that adventure, doing all of his stuff. But
the joke is that ends completely anticlimactically.
Yeah. Danny with a £10 dono. Thank you so much, Danny. I was very disappointed with how Perfect Dark looks. Perfect Dark was a cheesy shooter with goofy aliens named Elvis and a laptop gun. Why would you decide to bring the series back, but without the fun? So
just blurring of identity, more fucking blurring of identity. That's all we do these days.
That might be the case. That totally might be the case. I will say, when everyone remembers the goofiness of Perfect Dark, you are forgetting that it's like 3 levels of serious, 1 level of goofy. 3 levels of serious, 1 level of goofy. Like the first couple levels of Perfect Dark
formula.
Exactly. The first couple levels of Perfect Dark are not goofy. Like it is like a rooftop infiltration of this building, and then you get to the bottom, and then you need to escape, and then you're going through the sewers of the city, and it feels like Blade Runner. And the alien isn't introduced to like halfway through the game. And yes, his name is Elvis, and he looks like an old gray, and he's silly. And yes, you get silly guns like the Far Sight to where you can see through walls, and the laptop gun. So it's possible all that stuff is still here, and that they just showed off one of the quote unquote serious levels. I don't know though.
Is that a laptop that is a gun, or a gun that shoots laptops?
Very good question. It is a laptop. It's like a gun that kind of looks like a laptop that shoots bullets, but then you could throw it onto the ground and it turns into a turret. A laptop that becomes a turret. A gun that shoots laptops is interesting, though.
It's crazy if that thing went off on accident.
Can you imagine? Just get hit with a fucking Lenovo right in the head.
Yeah.
I don't even know if that's a laptop company. If I'm being honest. Fungus Finder, $2 dono. Zoids and Mystery Men. What is this? My childhood. What are Zoids?
I brought them up earlier.
Who was talking about Zoids earlier?
I don't know what Zoids are. When were we talking about Zoids? What's a Zoid?
No, I'm not going to tell him. Don't tell him.
I'm not allowed.
I'm not going to tell him now.
Oh, Mister, I have a big proclamation to tell everyone. Wait, I forgot my proclamation. We can't do this on me.
Forget your speech.
No, okay. Well, now we're even, I guess. There, listen, that's a Zoid.
We're both slowly creeping towards death and becoming senile. Let's agree with.
Like,
Frost, just please take care of us when we're in a home.
Yeah, this means I get 2 Lego games for Christmas when my dad to break up.
When we forget that we bought you one.
Yeah.
And then Fungus Finder with another $2. How did I miss the Louisiana game? Mon Dieu.
Oh, dude.
That was an atrocious pronunciation.
There's a good looking bayou, though, I tell you what.
It's Mon Dieu.
Mon Dieu.
Not when it's Creole, though. He wasn't.
Yeah, I was saying it like
still.
Gambit, mon ami. We're going to play with the cars tonight, mon chéri.
You said Mon Dieu. It's like saying Van Gogh.
Mountain
No, I was saying Mountain Dew, but I was just cutting out some of the syllables because I'm a busy man.
What is with the
Wait, it is Van Gogh.
stacking
Get this
the-
Van Gogh out of here. We're not doing a Van
What?
Gogh. We're calling him Van Gogh.
It's not Van Gogh.
Gogh.
Yeah, it's that one.
Take your Van Gogh out of here.
Hey.
Foxy. $5 dono. Biomorph has potential less on its own merits and more as a template for the Mega Man series reboot.
Okay.
I feel bad for Mega Man. What are we doing with Mega Man? Bring that boy back.
A lot of Mega Man games. You might not need
they
them.
tried.
Yeah, there are a lot of
the Mega Man stuff. Look at that.
Yeah, a lot of
One of
indie
them.
games are kind of just carrying the Mega Man torch.
Yeah, like
see
the
especially
20XDX games.
Yeah.
And Cuphead, arguably.
Cuphead, yeah, I would say so, absolutely. There was that first-person game Battle Chasers that came out recently. I think it's called Battle Chasers.
Oh, yeah, that was boring as fuck.
Yeah, but I think they kind of tried to do the.
Tell us how you really feel.
Yeah, he thought it was boring. Robonob the Snob, €5 dono. Thank you so much. This stream's the most I'll hear of Siren for at least the next decade, ain't it? I'm gonna stay sad forever. It probably will be. That being said, a great YouTuber named Eurothug who makes great video essays has a wonderful pair of video essays on Siren and Siren 2, and I highly recommend checking out the Siren one.
I really like the core gameplay premise of like the second person looking through the eyes of monsters to figure out where they are. It's just the game is incredibly boring and confusing.
I think that's why I appreciated it more in video essay form, because it was like someone else went through it and then sort of mama birded it back into my mouth in a digestible form, which I appreciated. So check out that video. I just put it in stream. I just put it in the chat. Eric with 50 more arses. Thank you so much, Eric. We need to find the next Five Nights at Freddy's, but take all the money instead. Blumhouse probably had an executive meeting after the success of the low budget movie.
You know, I'm going to beat the indies for mascot horror. My niece recommended one the other day. It's free to play on Indie or Steam. It's huge. God, they love their mascot horror.
Yeah,
the way you like Jason Voorhees, they love their Freddy Fazfingers, whatever his name is.
Jason fucking is a mascot these days. Look what they did to him in Multiverses.
Which we're going to play tomorrow.
Oh, look at that. Better with friends. Do you think Multiverses will be better with friends? Tune in to find out. Oh my god, I already lost where we were. Near asked, thank you so much for the dono. Do you gents ever see Second Wind doing a presentation / direct style thing, something like Summer Game Fest? Yeah, Nick has experience doing the Escapist Indie Showcase. I think that is something that would be super fun to do. Nick keeps saying maybe we'll do it in the fall, and I keep saying, for the love of Christ, Nick, we can't do it in the fall. Let's do it next year.
You guys are on the board. You tie him down and tell him no, not year 2024. I tell you that. We're getting all our eggs in order. One will hatch, and we'll present something. And we'll see
my word is, he keeps being like, "I'll take care of everything," and I'm like, "But then that means all the shit you do will fall to me." And then
not even that. I just don't want to see a body. You know, like one day I'm gonna get that call of he just collapsed, his heart gave out.
What if we just I could never tie Nick down. That boy has big ambitions. He's heads in the clouds. That's why we love him.
There you go. Well done. Danny with a £2 dono. Looks like Dizzy was ahead of his time. Dizzy Egg. Listen, this is
I thought he was talking about the Guilty Gear character.
Who's that?
The Guilty Gear character.
Fucking, you don't know who that is. You don't know who Dizzy Guilty Gear is, Frost.
They're the blue-haired one with a sword.
Yeah, she's got like 2 ghosts behind her, and
oh my god, that was just raw.
She's friends with the animals.
Same. Shout to Dizzy. Chris S. Welcome to Tip Jar. Been a member for 6 months. Almost the entire time of Second Wind. Thank you so much, Chris. And Snake in the Garden with a 2, Euro Dono. Don't forget word games plus hidden object games. Yeah, a lot of different like word-based puzzle games that I feel like you're going to be into.
Oh shoot! Yeah, I forgot the name of
Well,
one.
yes. But it's hard not to be into something that you're effortlessly good at, I suppose.
When you
What
put
was
that
it?
way.
I'm just really good at anagrams. Like my wife would be playing one of them fucking anagram apps on the phone, and she'd have been staring at it for a while, and I just pop up and look over her shoulder and just get the 7-letter one instantly.
Does she get
And then
pissed?
I'd tease her. I'd say,
Oh,
"I got it.
Don't
Need a
look at it.
hint."
Don't
she was
look at it.
saving that one for the end. I know the last
Don't
bite.
look at it.
Yeah, there was a puzzle game. I forgot what it was. I was like, Yahtzee's not going to be able to put down this challenge. Not for
I'll
the
tell
fun
you-
of it, but just to prove his point.
I'll tell you what demo I'm going to be playing this afternoon is Glyphica.
Oh yeah, that looked like a good one. That's the
Oh,
one
that's
that was
more
like,
type.
Yeah.
That's more typing speed than word games.
yeah. Glyphica is like a survival shooter where ships and whatnot are coming at you, and each ship is a word, and you need to type a word to shoot them, and then to activate various powers, you need to type other words. It's a real
Yeah.
nice type them up.
I'm gonna die. Yeah, chicken fingering my way through. No.
Just pecking.
Yep.
Fox D with a $5 dono. Thank you so much. Some indie dev needs to revive the maritime trading genre. I miss Uncharted Waters or the Patrician games. Hasn't been a good one since 2014. Do you know
there
these
was that
games?
fucking sailing era game from like a year or two
Oh
back.
yeah. Was that any good though?
No, it was a bit too anime for my tastes.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a couple of merchant games. I don't know if any were maritime.
Yeah, there was a space
Caravan.
trucking game that you're like literally a truck in space. That seemed like it was.
Yes, it's called Starstruck Vagabond. Thank you for mentioning it again.
Yeah, you should sue this other team who's making it. And then Madwin. Apologies. With 25 Polish zloty. Speaking of PS2 nostalgia, I've been playing We Heart Katamari Reroll recently, and it makes me happy. Katamari is legitimately my game I play when I'm depressed. When I'm depressed, I'm like,
Yeah,
I need you. Let me go to this world and roll things up, and then I'll leave with a smile.
Or are you conditioning yourself to be depressed because of this?
I like
game?
We Love Katamari because it's fun and it's got a good sense of humor and it's full of laughs and it's cozy, but it's also challenging, and that's what I want.
Yeah.
I mean, the first Katamari game, like, I'll be done in like the first 2 minutes. Then there's like 3 minutes left in the timer, and I think We Love Katamari perfected the timing for one such as me.
Yeah, I think we kind of talked about how like that guy was like, I don't really want to make games, but I have an idea for this thing. And then I think with the later ones, they're like, you kind of need to lean a little bit more into the games. And he was like, oh, I guess.
Yeah, fucking nobby boy.
Oh God.
How's Pools, by the way, Marty?
Oh, Pools is good. So Pools is it's like, do you know what Suika game is? I mean, I talk about Suika game a lot, but it's like Tetris, except when you drop a fruit, and when the two fruits of the same thing touch, they grow to become a bigger fruit. It's like that, but billiards. And so you have a billiard table, and you get the different sized balls, and you try to, and when two of the same size ball hit each other, they become a bigger ball. And so
I thought we were talking about Pools, the fucking horror walking simulator thing.
The problem is there's too many games called Pools. No. Yeah.
This one is Pools with extra O's.
Several O's. Yeah. Don't put too many
legally
O's
distinct.
Legally distinct Pools. Piss Bandit with a $5 dono. Thank you so much, Piss Bandit. In case you guys forgot about Bloober Hills 2, a reminder, please don't. Well, that was 2 weeks ago. That's the only reason I didn't bring it up. It's coming. It's coming soon.
I guess. Yeah. The waiting will be over soon. Then we can all stop thinking about it.
I hope it's great.
Okay, yep.
I hope it's the greatest game.
Confirmed. They fucked it up. Now let's get on with our lives.
I'm still looking forward. This is good. Frost, you've held out long enough. This is gonna be your first Silent Hill.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I forgot I was doing that. Keeping my virginity for this Silent Hill.
So, do you know what the twist? Do you know what the twist of Silent Hill 2 is?
No.
Okay. Well,
no
keep it
Pyramid
on that.
Head. That's it. I just know Pyramid Head, sir.
Yeah, it's got a whole head full of pyramids.
Because what we are absolutely going to need when the remake comes out is the opinion of someone who knows nothing about the original.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I am going to be full of opinions stemming from the fact that I am a huge fan of the original, and we need a counterbalance.
Oh yeah. What are you, Marty? Fan or not? You just
yeah, big fan of the first four.
Big fan.
Right. Not it's not like I feel the way about Silent Hill. The way Yahtzee feels about Silent Hill 2 is how I feel about Metal Gear Solid 3, though. So it's like of my Konami
Right.
franchises, Metal Gear I hold in a slightly higher regard than Silent Hill. But yeah, having just
Okay.
replayed Silent Hills 1 through 4, they're incredible. All incredible in different ways. Good games.
God, just seeing that footage that Eric's showing now is making my stomach turn.
Solid Jack Frost with a $5 dono. When it comes to Silent Hill 2 remake and the Metal Gear Solid 3 remake, at least you can still legally play the original Metal Gear Solid 3 after the remake comes out. Yeah, I mean that's the tough thing is like the legal versions of Silent Hill 2 are the kind of borked remastered Comic Sans font on the town board.
There was a PC release of the original. It's hard to find these days, of course.
Yeah, I wonder if it's even hard to play. Some of those old games get wonky now. Yeah, I feel like with remakes.
Yeah, well, the advantage of the PC version is that you can get your Master Race on and fuck about with your emulated Windows 95 setup or whatever you've got.
I still feel like if you do a remake, you should legally have to put the original game on, just on the disc or whatever, on the download.
Oh, they should do what Day of the Tentacle did, where on the CD version, where if you use like a computer in like some character's bedroom, you can just play the original Maniac Mansion in its entirety.
How great would that be? Where's the best place to play Silent Hill 2 in Silent Hill 2? Well, there's that one TV. You sit down at that one TV near the end.
Well, that was a harrowing cutscene. Anyway, time to play the original game.
That'd be great. Evil Apple Juice with a $5 dono. Thanks, Evil Apple Juice. Glad to catch you live. Horizon Lego was wild, but what other game series do you think they should do next that would be equally outrageous? The floodgates have opened.
Well, as I said, the whole Zoid connection means that makes sense to me.
Lego those are what the Zoids were.
Yes.
Now I remember what the Zoids were.
They were robot dinosaur, like put together yourself kits for little boys.
Yeah.
Anything you can be nice and gory, well, and then keep it cartoony.
Lego Dead Space. Ooh,
yeah, because he'd be out here stomping. He's got big boots. He's got the most satisfying stomp in any game.
Oh, How about Lego God of War Ragnarok?
Yeah.
See? I mean,
anything
if this does well, I can see them.
Yeah, the gore that you wouldn't give to children.
Lego Bloodborne. There you go.
Oh. Could you imagine if instead of announcing Bloodborne for PC and PS5, they announced Lego Bloodborne? God, that would be the funniest shit imaginable. Oh my god.
That would be like a Persona level degree of trolling people waiting for the sequel.
Troll, you say? I would love it.
I think I would love it. Senu, been a member for a month and ad-free. Thank you so much. Personally, I don't say that old, quote, this looks interesting. I go with a trailer can make me curious to remember the name.
Oh, I remembered what I was going to say back then.
Oh,
when
congrats.
I was going to say, I've said it before, but I'll say it again. The most useless phrase in media is, that could be interesting.
There you go.
Yeah, sometimes you see a game, though, and you're like, damn, that could be interesting.
Of course it could. We know nothing about it except if we read a trailer. Anything could be interesting.
We say this, but there are some trailers that you just go, "Oh no!"
Well, that ain't interesting.
Yeah, like that wasn't
interesting.
Yeah, no.
Well, true. I mean, I remember playing fucking Contra Rogue Core at E3 and thinking, well, that couldn't be interesting at all.
Yeah.
See, there you go.
Some games are dead on trailer. Imagine, not even before the arrival, just dead at trailer. Dad.
R.I.P. Dad. Mahu, you say with the $2 dono, thank you so much. While Waiting made me laugh. I hope it's fun. So this is another indie game called While Waiting. That is, it's a series of waiting simulators. So you're like a little cartoony character who needs to wait for the elevator or wait for the bus or in line at the store and you need to wait. And it's a wait 'em up. You got to wait. Your character can pull out their phone and you could play an idle game on your phone in the game while you wait.
And is there some like amusing frustration thing that happens if you wait in the line at the airport and all the other lines start moving really fast, so you switch to another line and then the line you were just in starts moving really fast?
That's the worst. Oh, that's the worst.
I don't know. I think they're going
choosing the wrong line, like having a choice between two lines and being like, I think this is the right one, and then realizing you were wrong. That's brutal.
They're going for your cake, the button that ruins everything.
Yeah, there you go. So now Medusa with a $2 dono just says Double Shake. I'm excited for Double Shake. This is again, speaking of throwbacks to the N64 PS1 era, very much modeled after stuff like Klonoa and Mischief Makers. Just looks nice.
Klonoa, isn't that what you call a bird's bumhole?
No, you're thinking of Cloaca.
Oh, I know. I was telling a little joke.
Oh,
well, you're wrong.
You're wrong. It's we don't joke about bird assholes here.
Okay.
When we're here.
Technically, they're also bird vaginas.
Well, no, is that thing Nick plays on. That's not a Steam Deck.
Yeah.
Damn it. The Klonoa Legion. Dale Mallows with a $5 dono. BRB taking a shit.
Thanks for letting us know.
He's probably done by now because that was a while ago. Kurt Horsting with a $5 dono. For the Mexican fighting game fans over 30, glad to see both Terry and Mai in Street Fighter 6 and a Fatal Fury game after a 20-year hiatus. For the Mexican fighting. Is Fatal Fury big in Mexico?
Oh, yeah. Fatal Fury, King of Fighters. It's huge.
Oh.
They call it Tequino because of the accent when you say the King of Fighters. So they just call it Tequino.
That's pretty funny. I like that. That's great. Blue McDee's nuts with a $2 dono. Zoids also see Gundams for Furies. For furries, excuse me, not Furies. Not like
dinosaurs aren't furry.
They're scalies.
Is that like a whole thing? People get horned up for lizards?
Yeah, they're called scalies. Don't look it up.
Well, people get horned up for fighter jets based around women. So yeah, they're scalies as well.
Nothing wrong with that.
That's why there's one of the waifus in Starstruck Vagabond is a snake lady. Meat for the scalies there.
Appealing to every fetish. I appreciate that.
There you go.
Zalno with a $5 dono. Thank you so much, Zalno. Also, I'm putting Star Fox and Ratchet and Clank in the same time and general area as Starsky's Vaseline. Fight me. I believe they called your game Starsky's Vaseline.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Everyone's having fun.
I like it.
Star Fox definitely. Star Fox is a game that ignited the Fury love, the furry love. Why do I keep calling it Furies?
Hellblade, I guess.
Yeah,
I can't read.
I just also because I can't
read.
Have
you played that yet?
You put the one illiterate. No, I'm gonna play it on stream. I'm probably gonna start this week.
Sonic the Hedgehog was like the one creating the furries, I think.
The furry. The furry.
Yeah.
It was Disney.
No, that's good. Yeah, you're probably right, actually. Yeah, like the original Robin Hood. That's where it all started.
Oh, yeah. Abdel Corrales with a $2 dono. Thank you so much. Hello, guys. How do you pronounce Sacre Bleu?
Sacre Bleu.
Oh, yours is good.
Sacre Bleu.
Sacre Bleu.
Sacre Bleu.
That's his precision platforming with his gun. No.
You guys are good. You're pulling him from deep. Like you're pulling a deep guttural growl, which I like.
Sacre Bleu.
See, this is beautiful.
Mon Dieu, Sacre Bleu.
What is that? What does Mon Dieu mean?
My God.
Oh, look at that. We're learning.
Yeah, as in Dieu et mon doigt.
What was that?
That's like the motto of the Prince of Wales. It means God and my rights.
Oh, fun fact.
God and my right to rule and all that.
Didn't think we'd be learning on this stream. Eric, did you just put a baguette in the corner?
I was expecting a trailer.
It's just a baguette.
I thought it was the Sacre Bleu trailer, yeah.
Kamja Ninja with a $5 dono. Thank you so much, Kamja Ninja. Oddly, the gameplay in the Perfect Dark trailer reminded me of that Prey 2 trailer, the one that got replaced by Prey, speaking of a blurred identity.
See, you made the game called... You made The Perfect Dark. And you go again? It was perfect.
It wasn't actually perfect. They just said it was.
It was only perfect if you had a Nintendo 64 expansion pack to play it with. You could play the game without an expansion pack, and it's something like you wouldn't be able to do the single player campaign, and you wouldn't be able to do multiplayer with bots. Right. But then if you had the expansion pack, you could do the single player campaign and do bots.
Bill, it is tempting fate, isn't it, to put a word like perfect in the title of your game?
Yeah. It's like that and Final Fantasy.
Sure.
It's like naming your ship the SS will never get sunk by anything.
Unsinkable.
What could possibly go wrong? Hannibal R been a member for 4 months in Tip Jar. Thank you so much, Hannibal. Appreciate it. AB with a $5 dono. Thank you, AB. I'm a bit late to the party, but the Dragon Age trailer made me want to side with the villain. Please let me destroy these peppy assholes.
Okay.
How many of these games allow you to be like capital B bad? Like your Dragon's Age, your Mass Effects, your anything of like choices matter.
As I've often said, choices matter sort of moved away from straight good versus straight evil quite a long time ago. Now it's all like fascists versus libertarians.
Sure. The big two.
So I'm sure you'll have the opportunity to be a fascist in the Dragon Age game.
Yeah.
Or just
be a libertarian and not let people tread on you?
Just an extremely boring conservative.
Yeah. There you go. Robonaut the Snob with a €5 dono. Thank you so much. Dropping a $5 to remind everyone that you could play Silent Hill 2 on PC using the Enhanced Edition mod that makes it playable on a modern machine.
If you can find a copy of the original Silent Hill 2 for PC and not download it abandonware style, touch nose.
Thieves. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, you know what? You know what Gabe Newell said? Pirates are just dissatisfied customers.
Yeah. I always like that. There's a lot of truth to that. Sovereign with a €50 dono. Thank you so much, Sovereign. Silent Hill 2 for PC. Oh, again, Silent Hill 2 for PC has a mod simply called the Silent Hill 2 Enhanced Edition that fixes it up for modern PCs. That's how I play Silent Hill 2 nowadays. Simply install the mod onto my totally legal PC copy of Silent Hill 2, and Bob's your uncle. Works great.
Touch nose. Totally legal. Touch nose.
Oh, is that what you were doing?
Yeah, you thought he was.
I thought you were doing nose goes.
Yeah, nose goes.
Yeah.
Yeah. At that point, it's like this is on you. This is on you, Konami. Like you've given me no other choice. Yeah.
Yes.
So you don't feel bad.
You make me do this.
You make me do this to experience the fog.
Why do you make me hit you?
Why am I doing this? And the Dogmatic Director. Been an ad-free podcast for a month. Thank you so much, Dogmatic Director. It's like naming your ship the Never Die. Wait, hang on.
Yes. The main character's ship in the Galaxy for Food books is called the Never Die as an intentional ironic joke.
Oh,
sort of to emphasize the fact that the dude's aging out of relevance.
What?
Sure. Yeah.
Oh, shoot. That's like his Osmandius. That's crazy.
Yeah, basically.
It is his Osmandius. That's good. There was a couple other games I remember that we didn't talk about. We didn't talk about. So the Microsoft's One Last Thing was showing off. I guess they said an in-engine trailer, but it was clearly looked like a cinematic meant to evoke the older games. But it was the new Gears of War game, and it is not Gears of War 6. It is called Gears of War E-Day, and it is a prequel, and is starring young Marcus and young Dom the day the monsters came out of the ground.
Look at how excited my face is at the prospect of that.
You look so excited. It's funny to me, though, if only because it feels like them being like, all right, people don't seem to be as hot on this new style of Gears of War as the old one, so we're just going to go back and just give people what they want. Feels like a course correction that shouldn't actually happen. That being said, I do like that they brought the of War back, because Gears 5 being called Gears 5, I think was silly.
Well, Gears 6 wouldn't have scanned, would it?
Gear 6. No.
Gears 6. It would,
Gear 6.
It would annoy everyone the same way Demon's Souls does.
Oh, God, Demon's Souls is bad. Ooh, Mr. Silly with a good one. Also, UFO 50, an indie game, being developed by the Spelunky 2 team. And the pitch is that they wanted to make a thing that felt like you found a console that you didn't know existed, and they made 50 games for that console. So it's like an old, kind of like 16-bit thing, and there are 50 full games on it that they made. So it almost seems like one of those like pawn shop things, like one of those things you would find in you would buy like 101 cart. But it's the Spelunky team making 50 different games all in one. I'm gonna be honest, it looks delightful.
That's old school nostalgia. That's nostalgia that goes way beyond the 20-year limit.
Yeah.
I'll say this. There's a little demo right now during the Next Fest called Reason Unfound. Spooky. Okay. It's like VHS, the movie, but you're finding old floppy disks that have haunted games in them, and you're playing through them.
Oh, I like that.
And yeah, I was like,
yeah,
okay, multiple going for this premise, game within game. I don't know why, I just like it.
You couldn't
Yeah.
fit much on a floppy disk, even when they were like standard hardware. I remember having an Amiga 600. You had to play Monkey Island 2 on 11 of the fuckers.
Back in my
11
day.
floppy disks.
Really?
Yeah,
11?
you just had to. Every now and again, the game would go please switch to floppy disk 7 or 4 or 9 or wherever you were.
Oh,
You just
so it
had
wasn't
to
like oh my god, that's really funny.
yeah, because it wasn't like just in order.
Yeah.
You didn't install them; they were played directly off the disk. So you just had to swap to whatever disk the current bit of game was on.
Yeah, I
There
never
it is.
I
Eric's
never
showing up.
played PC gaming back in the floppy disk era, so that's fast. I do like Frost, I agree with you. I like the little not WarioWare. Well, it's almost like if you take WarioWare and you like you put a wrapper around it that you're in this space and you're finding things.
Put it on a map like Cauldron.
Yeah.
Like it's just a bunch of mini games, but it's all tied into this like one JRPG-esque map.
Yeah.
It's all interacting with itself. It's really strange.
Yeah. Interesting.
Hits the dopamine.
Couple last minute super chats that came in. Denmark with a $5 dono. Thank you so much, Denmark. The most interesting detail to come up from all this is that apparently Yahtzee knows what Guilty Gear is. Oh yeah, Yahtzee's a big fan of the Guilty Gear story.
I mentioned this a while back. I've never played them, and I don't expect I ever will. But I just saw some footage of it, and I was immediately drawn to the visual style and the character animation. And I just like looking every now and again. I just like looking at footage of the Guilty Gear characters because I think it's fun to look at.
Yeah, there's I feel that way about a lot of like sort of like top-down building management games. I have no desire to play this genre, but the ones that are aesthetically pleasing, I just like looking at. I mean, look at this. They're making a little nature reserve. That one beaver game where you make like a little beaver habitat. I'm like, this looks great. Never gonna play it, but I like making beaver habitats. And then Maer with the $10. Thank you so much. There's a new Lucas Pope game on Playdate review.
Send me a fucking Playdate and I'll be right on that.
I thought you had one.
Rankers.
No, I don't have one.
I have one.
Oh.
We'll get you. New funding goal. Yahtzee gets a Playdate. Did you see that they $600,000 worth of Playdates were stolen from a convention center last year, and they literally just found the pallet?
That's
like a year later,
crazy.
They found the pallet. Apparently, they stole them thinking that it was something else and that they could sell them. And then they were like, "There is no black market for these weird little."
Wow!
Crankers.
Imagine this piece of shit. I went Fast and Furious for this thing.
That's a blow to the Playdates ego. But yeah, I fucking need some things to review this summer. So yeah, if you could send me one, I'll be all over that.
I'll just mail you my cranker. God knows my cranker is just collecting.
I'll make a game for you. Yeah.
Put it on the cranker. That's what we need to do.
What?
And we need to do an internal like 1 week second win game jam, and then Yahtzee can review our games. And we can make our games in whatever thing. You want to make it in RPG Maker? That's fine. You want to make it in Dreams? That's
Paint?
fine.
I'll make it in MS
You want to
Paint?
make it in Paint? That's fine.
Like, Marty, we didn't even have time to do the Dark Souls thing.
Oh no, I did. I turned mine in last night.
Me too, but still.
We did.
Oh, I wonder what they're talking about. Maybe you'll find out soon.
Oh my god, Dark Souls. Erdtree's coming. Eric Arsis retracted a message. Oh, but then jumped to here. Using this to show the grenade scene from Killer Bean. There's a game called Killer Bean that they revealed that looks like a cartoony take on like an open world GTA / Just Cause, but you play as an anthropomorphic bean.
Oh, how random. Wow, they should make a fucking Adult Swim show about that, because it's so random, lol.
A lot of people freaking out about this. I didn't get it. He looked like a little chicken nugget as well.
Oh my god.
Yeah, he looks exactly like how they used to depict like the animatronic chicken nuggets in the old McDonald's Land adverts, doesn't they?
Yeah.
I know this is a cult classic here. I played this demo 2 years ago. It's very bare bones.
Yeah, the creator made a YouTube movie, like a YouTube animated movie. So it's based on that. There you go.
It's funny though.
And then Tsunami Doucher with a $2 dono. Yahtzee, ever play Up of the Jungle?
No, that is a weird sentence.
I'm not sure if this is real. Was that Tsunami Doucher? Was that a typo? Because autocorrected. Jill of the Jungle.
Where did Up come from?
You said autocorrecting. I don't know. Jill
No,
of
I
the
have not.
Jungle is a game.
I have not played Jill of the Jungle. I'm aware it is an ancient PC platformer. I think it's by Epic.
Oh wow, yeah, a trilogy of platforming games from the early '90s. Oh, I've never even heard of them.
Wasn't it like Cliffy B's earliest game you ever worked on or something?
Oh yeah, Tim Sweeney was the lead designer.
Tim Sweeney's first ever game.
Yeah, rich man.
No, didn't play that. I'd played the original Duke Nukem, but I never played that.
Oh yeah, the original Duke Nukem side scroller, right?
Yep, and looked like that.
Gross.
Looked like that.
Ick.
Except you weren't a sexy lady.
Casey said I did. Casey's a big Jill of the Jungle fan. History's #1 Jill of the Jungle fan. Casey Wussy. Excellent. That's it. We got to the end of all the super chats.
All right. Well,
No
thanks for
more
tuning
ever.
in to the Windbreakers podcast, listeners. Hope you're all suddenly not excited for all the upcoming games that
God,
may or may not be coming out in the next few years.
Also, we're getting a Nintendo Direct soon.
Oh, what do you know? I was Yahtzee Croshaw. I've got a fully ramblomatic coming this week on Wednesday. It will be on the subject of Silico, boomer shooter on Steam that we got a review code for recently. Worth checking out, I thought. And what else have I got? Yahtzee Tries Wednesday afternoon, of course. And I'll be featured in the episode of Venturers Night that comes out on Saturday. As, of course, I will be in every episode of Venturers Night that comes out for the foreseeable future.
And Jack will be joining you for this week's
yes, because there's a game he's been awfully evangelical about that he wants to show me. So we'll be playing that.
No Arctic eggs. We can all agree. No Arctic eggs.
I don't know. Got that vibe.
Frost, plug things.
Plugging things. I sit here. Cold Take, just want to go watch that. And then everyone leave me alone for the rest of the week outside of the streams that we're doing because Next Fest is out right now. So many demos. We even have a list and all that good stuff. Real quick, though, on top of the plugs, did you read Danny and Kurt's super chats under?
No, I might miss it. Kurt? No, how did I miss both of them? How did I fuck that up? Kurt, apologies. $5 dono. Thanks for the backup, Frost. SNK fighters are huge in all of South America.
They are.
Learning about some. Wait, how do you have a hat? I was so fucking tricked because I looked down in the bottom right hand corner and you were like wearing the same thing but with a hat, and I was so confused by what was going on.
That's Toolman's now.
There you go. And then Danny with a 10-pound dono. Thank you so much, Danny. I know you wonderful, uncivilized gentlemen are not usually into strategy games, but I'm curious to know if anyone at Second Win is interested in Civ 6. Yeah, it was a good reveal. I didn't put it on here just because I feel like seven. Apologies. Yeah, seven. Civ 7. Are
they up to 7 already? Blimey.
Yeah, this is 7. Civ 7.
What? Sean Bean was like 10 years ago.
Sheen Bean. I think they're neat, and I think they're neat from a distance, and I just keep them at that distance. And I say
they're not. Yeah, they're not my bag.
So I'll tell you, my friends and I are going to get this, play it for 2 weeks, one campaign, and then that's it. As it always goes with Civ games.
There you go. Oh. I think Nick tends to try to play a little bit of everything, so maybe Nick will give you a little Civ 7 streaming when it comes out.
I feel like that's the sort of thing where you'd need to have a strong reference with the rest of the games because inevitably it's going to be different to previous Civ games. And you need to complain about every single way they're different to previous Civ games in order to fully gel with the audience.
It is funny because it does feel like RTS, I might be overgeneralizing, but RTS might be one of those genres where people are always like, why don't more people play these games? But then if we were to have a relative novice playing this game and stumbling through live as someone would in a first time playing, people would get frustrated at that. So it feels like a real no true Scotsman.
Hey, look at him go. Yeah. I also think, depending on how this one goes, the Civ games don't have a lot of changes in between. It's mostly aesthetic.
You can't really get away from you're a famous historical leader in the real world, and you go through all of history. You can't really do a sequel to that. That's just like the second bit of that.
You are about to get well, actually, so hard, Frost. It's gonna
Oh
be
yeah,
crazy.
no, it's like
gonna be
Jack said
crazy
with
tomorrow.
MMOs, where to the average person who plays them, you couldn't tell the difference between like Final Fantasy, Guild Wars, and
Sure.
World of Warcraft. But for someone like forget his bloody name, John MMO himself, yeah, he could tell you the differences left, right, and center. While I just go,
Yeah.
this works out pretty much the same.
Yeah. But that's the thing of like, I feel like any genre, any series, if you are a novice, you're like, these all seem the same to me, and then the hardcore fans are like,
I'm gonna offend him even
Mm.
more. Civilization Revolutions was my favorite.
That was a fun one.
Yeah, we can leave
Nice
now.
and simple. Nice. And
My
simple.
favorite was Colonization.
Oh, look at that! Was that space
which
one?
was it was set in like the colonization of the Americas back in the day.
Oh, I took a stab and I was wrong. In terms of other streams, in less than half an hour, Jim8, Nick, and myself will be back for the Ubisoft Forward Showcase. You'll notice we didn't talk about Ubisoft because it hasn't happened yet. Star Wars Outlaws, Assassin's Creed Shadows, maybe Tom Clancy himself, reanimated. I'm not sure if he's dead.
Just
He's
prop
dead,
him up
isn't
with
he?
a stick. Yeah, he's been dead for ages.
Oh, okay. Rest in peace. Rest in power, Tom Clancy.
Yeah. They could bring out a
and
big old urn containing his ashes, perhaps.
That'd be nice. Yeah.
Then they
As
could
a
piss all
pre-order
over
bonus?
them.
A pre-order
Was
bonus.
he a bad guy?
He just seemed like a.
Well, he tended to write
warmonger.
books that are read by people who are kind of dipshits.
Piss worthy. All
Uh-oh.
right.
Fans are coming for you. And then later tonight, 6 p.m. Central, the Hidden Gems crew will be back as usual with a game about like surfing or skateboarding. I'm gonna be honest, I'm not 100% sure what the game is. Casey chose it. It is called Wave Break, and it's a neon tinted surfing game. So there you go.
Sounds very interesting.
Excellent. Yep. That's all from me.
All right.
And then we'll have random streams scattered throughout the week. Some Next Fest stuff, some sponsored stuff. So we'll let everyone know that schedule. But yeah, all sorts of fun streams.
So much motherfucking shit.
Wow, that was a lot of cussing. Oh, there's a weird spider on my ceiling.
Well,
looked up.
leave
you
him.
were
I
looking
clapped,
at
looked up,
God.
and there was like a big old spider up
I
there.
thought you were looking to God after Yahtzee's crassness. I don't know. He didn't mean it.
Yeah. Leave the spiders. They eat the little flies.
Yes, Mia.
Yeah. Come on, dude.
Anyway, that's it from us now. Bye, everyone. Have fun.